In Egypt, the government or the leadership holds this idea of managing the Syrian crisis through a political dialogue and political process. This is not the case in Saudi Arabia. This is not the case in Ankara. They will see eye to eye in Riyadh and Ankara. The relationship between the new troika, if I can say, in Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates will not become as it was before, because there is a lot of differences between the political views in the United Arab Emirates and the political views in Riyadh towards a number of issues within the GCC and in the Middle East. So we'll see some test of stability in the region through the relationship between Riyadh and Abu Dhabi. Whether this relationship will continue as it was during the reign of late King Abdullah, or it's going to change, especially as we know that the relationship between Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed and Mohammed bin Salman and Mohammed bin Naif is not actually that good. There is a good relationship between Mut'ab bin Abdullah and Mohammed bin Zayed, but it's not the case in the relationship between Mohammed bin Zayed and both Mohammed bin Naif and Mohammed bin Salman. So we should predict some sort of complications, but within the nature of the policy in the Gulf, in the nature of the policy in the Arab Peninsula, these differences will not erupt as a volcano of explosions in the policy. They will try to contain, especially with efforts from the Emir of Kuwait to try to contain things.
But how will that reflect on Egypt?
It will reflect in Egypt. I hope that the economic conference in March will have good fruits, but I doubt that the departure of the late King Abdullah will have some sort of shadow on the conference, because Saudi Arabia is a principal donor to Egypt and is a principal ally in the region, and if the foreign policy in Saudi Arabia has come under review, one of the issues will come under review is to what extent Saudi Arabia should be involved in the affairs of Egypt. And as well, Mohammed bin Naif, Mohammed bin Salman hold the view that we should ease the tension and produce or create some sort of inclusive political system. Mohammed bin Naif has a very strong relationship with the states, and I think the differences between the states and Saudi Arabia will be tighter than before, will be less than before, and that will reflect on the Saudi relationship with Egypt. Egypt has enjoyed good relationship with Saudi Arabia regardless of U.S. pressure on the Saudis. Now, with Mohammed bin Naif, the crown prince of the vice crown prince, and we know that he is a very powerful man. His father was a very powerful man. He inherited this power from his father and from the very strong military machine he has in the Ministry of Interior.
We have to wait and see exactly.
Of course.
And monitor the situation very closely and very cautiously in these upcoming months.
I think
yes. Another risk here is Yemen. And before we discuss Yemen, because we are limited of time, I guess we have to to speak about this topic once again, but let us first have a quick report on the situation in Yemen and come back for discussion.
The Yemeni parliament will hold an emergency meeting on Sunday after President Abdurrabbi Mansour Hadi offered to resign over a deadly standoff with Shiite militia controlling the capital. Hadi, a key American ally in the fight against Al-Qaeda, said in his letter of resignation that he could no longer stay in office as the country was in total deadlock. Yemeni state news agency SADA reported that the parliament will hold an extraordinary meeting on Sunday to discuss the current developments in the country. A Yemeni official had earlier said that lawmakers would meet on Friday to debate the resignation offer, which needs to be approved by the House. But Hadi advisor Sultan Al-Atawani told reporters that the parliament would meet on Sunday at the earliest because it is in recess and lawmakers need time to return. Witnesses and security forces said that Houthi militiamen had encircled the parliament building overnight, having already seized the presidential palace earlier this week. A security official said that gunmen have also surrounded the houses of top officials, including Defense Minister Mahmoud al-Subayhi and head of the intelligence Ali al-Ahmadi. The Houthis, who hail from Yemen's northern highlands and who took controls of most of the capital Sana'a in September, said that the constitution stipulates that Hadi's resignation should be approved by an absolute majority in the parliament.
Welcome back, and back to Dr. Nawal here, and we were speaking about Yemen. Yemen is a new problem for Saudi Arabia and for the whole region I'm speaking. So,
well, if I take it from the point of view that whether Saudi will be threatened by a Houthi regime in Yemen, I don't think so, because Saudi Arabia can contain the danger and the threat of the Houthis. But the problem here is that it reflects on the relationship between Iran and Saudi Arabia. The Saudis have built a fence. There is a wall protecting the Saudi borders from Yemen. So there is a wall there, and they think they are safe. But the influence of the Houthis in Yemen tell us that Iran is there. On the Arab Peninsula, Iran is threatening Bahrain as well. So you have two countries. One of them has already fallen, north of Yemen at least, and one is very much threatened, which is Bahrain. If I look at Yemen, we have a lot of scenarios there. If you look at the situation there, now I expect 2 big wars or 3 big wars at least before we can say that Houthis have established, and
because we expect the Houthis to establish a state?
They will.
A government?
They will. And they will, at the moment they are the masters of Yemen.
But would that put the whole tribal issue in jeopardy? Yes. Al-Ahmar, who have the controversies with Houthis and...
They list of power. But I'm not saying that they have already established the power, the Houthis. Yes. But they have 3 wars waiting for them. The war of Marib. This is regarding oil. The war of Taiz, because Taiz has proved to be a strong castle resisting the influence of Houthis. They could not enter it. And the third is the south of Yemen, whether the Houthis will advance to the south or will stay there. At the moment there is some sort of talks about redrawing the map of Yemen and dividing Yemen into 2 regions, not 6 regions, and adding Taiz and Marib to the south, and keeping the power of the Houthis in Sana'a and the northern Yemen provinces. Whether the Houthis will be satisfied with that or not, this is the issue of the coming of the few coming days. I don't think that the parliament has a power, the president does not have a power, the government does not have a power. The real power on the ground is for the Houthis, except in Taz, in Marib, and in the south. So this is their problem at the moment.
You're speaking about also tribes who are holding alliances or they are holding loyalty to Hadi and Surhadi and the...
Yeah, but you have the army that lost most of its weapons to the Houthis, and the Houthis are almost controlling everything. So it's an open war, it's an open fight. It has not been decided. The conclusion is not clear at the moment, but it's a very strong thorn in the side or in the back of Saudis in the Arab Peninsula.
Unfortunately, my time is up. I was very much interested to learn more from you. Yes, indeed, because we'll have to wait and see how things will turn to be in the region, particularly after this discussion we had. So, Dr. Ibrahim Nawar, political analyst, we thank you very much for joining us. Dear viewers, many thanks for watching. Until next Saturday, it's goodbye.